What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the FNG Academy. Buck here from Green Beret. We're here to help you guys get selected. Alright guys, in this video I wanted to talk about some milestones before you go to selection. So you got your selection date, you're getting ready to go, you're all pumped up. How do you know if you're physically ready to go? So in this video I want to talk about that, but first, this video is sponsored by 18 Alpha Fitness. Kevin is an awesome dude and he's going to help you get ready physically. He's going to help you with injury prevention and make sure that you're ready to rock when it comes to selection. Couldn't pick a more fitting video to throw Kevin in there for 18 Alpha Fitness, but go check him out. Tell him Buck sent you. He will make sure that you are physically ready to go. But for those of you who are getting ready, you're working on it, but you still just don't know if you're ready or not. Like, what are some milestones to see how you're sizing up to other people? Because I understand, like, the tricky part about it, especially for you guard guys, is you don't really have a ton of people to compare to, right? You don't get to just go to your unit and train with other guys that are going to selection. Maybe you get to link up with the guard guys, but there could be a big gap of training when you're not with the SF guard recruiters and being able to compare side by side with other candidates. And you never know, maybe that batch of candidates just isn't setting the bar very high. Who knows, right? So I want to give you guys just a few little milestones that I felt like when I was in selection and getting ready for selection, we were all able to hit pretty easily. And these milestones will carry you very well throughout the Q course as well. These are all super important. Here are my 3 tips for physical fitness milestones that I think you guys should be hitting before you go to selection. And if you're hitting these already, pat yourself on the back and try to do even better. But these will at least give you some kind of idea as to how you're doing, how you're shaping up, and if you're ready to go. So, number 1, PT test. I understand that they're changing the PT test and they might not use that in selection, but it really doesn't matter. The point is, when I was going through selection, most people that were doing well in selection scored really well in the PT test. The same thing was true throughout the Q course. Guys that can consistently score 290 and above in the PT test, the original or the old Army PT test, push-ups, sit-ups, and run, tend to do very well physically. So it was a pretty good gauge as to how you're going to do is if you were getting 290 plus. It goes 290 to 300. 300 is technically max, and then there's extended scale. A lot of guys in the Q course you're going to find are 310, 315, 320. A lot of guys are in the extended scale. There's not many people that are going to have a 2 and then even 90 on their PT test, because usually we know the PT test is coming and we prepare for it and we try to crush it. So to crush it, you're going to typically what I expected for myself for any PT test is 80 plus push-ups, 80 plus sit-ups, and a 13-minute 2-mile. So that was about maxing. Everyone's going to be in the same. It doesn't matter what your age is. When you get to selection and when you get to the Q course, everyone is going to get judged by the highest standards, which I think is like 18 to 21. For me, and from what I remember, it was roughly around like 82 push-ups, 83 sit-ups, and a 13-minute 2-mile run. I'll link the Army APFT Calculator down below. Like I said, even if they switch to the new one, this is still a good, easy test that you can give yourself to see if you're on track with guys that have been selected by scoring 290 plus, trying to get into the extended scale consistently of the PT test. That doesn't mean you have one good one. What I mean is that I can go and knock out a 290 plus at like that. I could have went out and drank the night before, not slept very well, whatever. And if the cadre suddenly surprised me with the PT test, I was going to still hit 290 plus. That was always my goal, and that was always in the back of the head because you never know when those PT tests are going to come. So that's mile marker number 1. Mile marker number 2 is running at least 5 to 7 miles. You're going to get this in the Q course all the time. Cadre are going to be like, all right, this morning for PT, going for a run, follow me. And he'll just take off. You need to be able to take off running at the slowest, in my opinion, 7-minute, 30-second miles. And be able to continue those 7-minute, 30-second miles for 5 to 6 to 7 miles. Those are chill runs in the Q course. Those are runs you're going to have to do in selection, but they're graded, so they're going to be tracking your times. But if you could just jump out of bed and go for a run and hit 7:30 minute miles for 5 to 6 miles, you're doing pretty good, especially if you're in somewhere like Colorado where the altitude is really high. I'm not going to lie to you guys, moving to Colorado after I got stationed there did affect my PT test and my run times. But I just had to work harder to get it back up. So you should be able to just jump out of bed. One of the main things we always talk about in the Q course is getting sick. What happens if you get sick? This was before coronavirus, so getting sick and getting the flu was just getting the flu, right? We didn't like lose our minds. I don't know if you could even get the flu now. So I don't know. Is everything coronavirus? If you get sick, if you have just the flu, whatever that is, then you still need to be able to jump out of bed and rock a PT test. You still need to be able to jump out of bed and rock that 5-mile run. Because I promise you, the last thing you're going to do is raise your hand when the cadre says, hey, we're going for a run, and be like, but sir, I don't feel good. It's just not going to happen. It's not acceptable. No one's going to do it. I promise you. If you're not feeling good that day and you don't want to get your boys sick, just stay away from them. But your ass is running. So be prepared at your worst to still get out of bed and hit those runs. Unless you just straight up need to go to the hospital. But in that case, you wouldn't have to tell cadre because you'd be in the hospital. All right. And the last and final tip, benchmark, whatever you want to call it, that I think you guys should be able to hit is a ruck march. You need to be able to throw 45 to 55 pounds on your back and step out on a 10-mile ruck and be able to cruise it at like think of it as like a mall walk for an older lady. You know, they go around and they just do that fast-paced mall walk. It's like this in their hands. I don't know why they karate chop, but for them it helps. I ain't gonna lie, I probably copied them and tried the karate chop method. But that brisk walk is how you should be rucking. That's stepping out. When people say step out, that's like that old lady fucking karate chop mall walk. You're moving. It doesn't matter the weight on your back, you're moving. You need to get there, and you're just shy of running, because on a movement, running is going to mess up everything. It's going to cause the slinky effect. It's terrible. Running is the worst. It's better if you could do a fast-paced mall walk, so that way you guys can stay consistent and you don't mess everybody else up behind you. But if you're going Ranger, they love to run. And honestly, that's built in to that slinky, is they could see now you have to add in sprints. Anyway, it's a whole thing. But also be able to jog without getting injured in a ruck. Mall walk pace, fast, brisk walk for 10 miles, 45 to 55 pounds on your back. Those are 3 benchmarks that I think if you could hit those consistently, not just like, oh, I got one, Buck said I'm good to go. You can hit those consistently. You could wake up at a random day and be like, I'm going to do that, and then go crush it, and it's not a big deal. You're looking pretty good. Other than that, go hit up Kevin over at 18 Alpha. Tell him Buck sent you, and he will make sure that you're physically ready to crush selection. Obviously, being physically prepared is just one of many aspects that makes a successful operator, whether you're going Rangers, SEALs, or whatever. But that's what this channel is all about. We will fill you in on all that stuff. And for the guys that are asking about the merch, whole store's dropping soon. Plenty of stuff coming. Can't wait for you guys to see the new show, Wine and Rations. It's going to be awesome. I think you're really going to love it. First episode should be out sometime in the next couple weeks. Talk to you guys next time.
And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know